What is going on, YouTube? Happy Thursday. We've got a 2-game slate. So, we've got the ALCS and the NLCS. Both games are in action today. Should be an interesting one. Wow. How about those Dodgers, huh? I'll be honest. After I like to watch other people's, never watch them before. Just creates a weird bias and makes you lean one way or the other. But afterwards, I just kind of like to see where everybody else is leaning. Everybody was on the Mets, and I loved it. Honestly, I hammered the Dodgers. I went very heavy on them after I saw everybody else was on the Mets. Just loved the read. And if you watched the game last night, they front-loaded their lineup with lefties. It was a beautiful read. I love the read. So it worked out very, very well. But all in all in the day, it's basically a wash on plays I gave out, which sucks. Betts and Lindor, just Lindor sucked. He was 0 for 4. He had bases loaded. I was like, all right, he's gonna hit that 1.5 HRR, but he didn't. Betts got a hit but didn't score. Let's see, Severino ended up walking 3, and team total over 2.5. They scored 0. Our hit parlay of Lindor, Ohtani, and Betts. We just needed Lindor to get a hit, couldn't come through. But we did hit the Dodgers first 5 and the team total over 2.5. And of course, we were on Dodgers money line. So, love the read on the Dodgers, man. All right, before I forget, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're seeing some good growth. I appreciate it. Give the video a thumbs up, comment down below with your favorite play today, and NFL Thursday video was put out yesterday. Make sure you guys check that out. I will link it down below. And we've got NBA starting up on Tuesday, so I'm excited about that. Already starting to look at props and things of that nature. So really excited for the NBA. One of my favorite seasons. I would say it's NFL, MLB are tied, and then NBA. So good times ahead from that front. But let's get into today's games. But before we do that, we'll talk about park factors. We're going to flip it up a little bit. Here's your pitch report and your park factors. So as you can see today, we've got another day of the wind blowing in Citi Field. It is blowing pretty hard in. Progressive Field, not so much in, but it's blowing mainly from left field, only at about 5 miles an hour. But we can see home runs and runs are down across the board today. It's going to be in the low to mid 50s in both games, right? So the ball is not going to carry as far as it normally would, which we saw play a factor yesterday. All right, first game on the card. Yankees Guardians. Clark Schmidt going up against Matthew Boyd. I like Boyd. Big fan of Boyd. Always the question for Boyd is how many people will he walk? Control can be an issue for him. We have seen it time and time again. So really that's the difficult piece. But the Yankees are struggling against left-handed pitching, hitting 204 over the last 10. Guardians hitting 225 versus right-hand pitching over the last 10. Really, this game comes down to Cleveland. Can they freaking hit? They have struggled with nobody on base, with runners in scoring position. We just have not really seen them have any type of clutch hits. So they'll have to come through here. Home field advantage, hasn't really proven too great for Cleveland. They had the best home record for quite a while, them and Philly, but they're only 8-6 at home since September 1st, and they didn't really face many strong teams. They had series against the Pirates, the Rays, the Twins, the Reds, and the Astros. So not exactly, the Astros is obviously a good team, but the rest of those non-playoff teams with subpar offensive stats. If we look at the Yankees, 8-4 away record since August 31st. Again, didn't really play the strongest of teams. They played the Rangers, the Cubs, the Mariners, and the Athletics. So we really can't garner too much on how each team's going to do. To me, it's going to come down to the starting pitching. I like Matthew Boyd. If we look at Boyd, 2 playoff starts, and he's been pretty damn stellar. He just hasn't gone long. He's been at the party. He just hasn't been there for a long time, right? That game against Detroit, he only went 2 innings. They didn't want him to face the lineup a second time around. We get it. It was a pivotal game for them, so they were very quick to go to the bullpen. And then on October 7th, he faced the Tigers as well. Went 4.2 innings, gave up 4 hits, struck out 5, walked 2. So He's walked 1 and 2 innings, 2 and 4 innings. So hopefully we can see that trend continue. But starts previous today did pretty good. He has given up 2 or less earned runs in his last 5 starts. So you got to go all the way back to August to find a start where he gave up more than 2 earned runs. On the flip side, we've got Mr. Clark Schmidt. Faced Kansas City on the 9th. Went 4.2 innings, 4 hits, 2 earned runs. Go back to his previous start to that. You got to go back to the regular season against Pittsburgh where he gave up 4, gave up 3 to Baltimore. So, he's given up 9 earned in his last 3. Let's see. If we look at Boyd, 1K prop I like, and I bet this yesterday, literally as soon as it came out. I would just happen to be looking at lines. Boyd over 3.5 Ks. It's a gamble because we don't know how long he's going to be at the party, but he's gone over that in his last 8 starts. That includes his 2-inning start last time. So good odds there. I think it's down to plus 120 now. I think I got it at plus 145. So it is dropping quite a bit, depending on which book you're on. But I know on DK it's plus 120 still as of this morning. That's just a bet I like. So the pitch split really favors Cleveland. Right, they are 7th hitting the fastball, which Smith throws 21% of the time. 5th hitting the cutter, which he throws 35% of the time. He throws 5 pitches, kinda. He throws a changeup like less than 1% of the time. But if he does, Guardians are good against it. They're fairly weak against the slider, which he throws about a quarter of the time. They're 27th in that. And then the curveball he throws about 19% of the time, and they're kind of middle of the road there. Yankees against Boyd, just pretty much middle across the board, right? He throws primarily a fastball at 48.4% of the time. They're about 16th hitting the fastball over the last 30 days. Slider, very average. Changeup, they do a little bit better on the changeup, which he throws 26% of the time. But I think he's going to induce a lot of weak contact. I think the wind's going to help him. He is a very, very heavy fly ball pitcher. At 69% of his outs come via the fly ball. So I do think, even though it's only a 5-mile-an-hour wind, it should help against the right-handed lineup. Kind of the same thinking as yesterday, folks. We've got the wind blowing in from the left. It's only 5, but it can gust up to 10. So lefties will be favored here. Just the way the park dimensions are, the way the ball will carry to right field is going to be a little bit better. And this Cleveland lineup is going left-handed heavy. They should have 8 lefties in the lineup today versus New York only having 4. So I do think there is an advantage for Cleveland. That said, Yankees have a lot of pop. So I really only want to trust the first 5 here, to be honest with you. Cleveland first 5. Favorite play at plus 100. It's just good value there. We got to hope that Cleveland actually can hit the baseball and score some runs. That's my only concern. But I've got this projected to be a fairly low-scoring game. I've got this somewhere in the neighborhood of, 5-3, 4-3, something like that. But I do give the edge to Cleveland. So that's how I've got this game handicapped. Let's move on to the next game. Dodgers and the Mets. Oh, boy. That was a bloodbath yesterday. That was a bloodbath. All right. That Shohei home run was massive for me personally. So that was kind of nice. I had a plus 1,200 parlay where it went back to the day before. I had Jose Ramirez to hit a home run, Shohei to get a hit, and team total over 6. So, or not team total, game total over 6. Just a little fun bet there that ended up just panning out. So that was beautiful. All right, Yamamoto going up against Quintana. Quintana, not a huge K guy, right? A little bit of a variance to Severino, who I thought Severino looked great last night. His cutter was looking real nice. That thing had so much movement on it. He broke a couple of bats with that. But Walker Buehler, best I've seen Walker Buehler look in years. I mean, that sweeper was nasty. His curveball was on point. There was a ton of drop to it. He did okay pinpointing his fastball. He was a little off at times, but the breaking stuff really kept him off balance, and he looked fantastic. I mean, his K prop it came out at 4.5. We were on the under for the prop leans. It dropped to 3.5, so it was feeling pretty good about that. Ton of people took the under 3.5 at like plus 130, and he goes out and strikes out 5. So It is what it is. Crazy game. All right, if we look at the Mets, they didn't use any meaningful bullpen arms last night. They used Tyler McGill, which kind of surprised me, right? I thought McGill would have been a viable person to throw Game 5, right? We look at that Braves doubleheader. He threw really, really well in that game, so I thought he might have earned a spot in that rotation. But it looks like they're going to go with Kodai Senga. I think that's a silly move, but okay. Um, that automatically puts me on the Dodgers tomorrow, if I'm being honest with you. Flaherty and Senga, it's about as lopsided as you can get. Full transparency. We're definitely going Dodgers first 5 tomorrow, unless there's hurricane winds blowing in from right field or something. Um, yeah, if we look at the Dodgers, they didn't really use any meaningful arms yesterday. They threw Kopech for 12 pitches, so nothing we have to worry about there. So you've got two bullpens that are in pretty decent shape. Yamamoto's only projected to go like 13 and a half outs, so they're not projecting him for long. This Dodgers bullpen's been stout, man. You take away Landon Knack, who should have never thrown, and they've given up 1 earned run in like the last 40 innings. So it's a damn good bullpen. We look at Quintana. He's had some success versus this team. Since 2022, he's 2-1 with a 1.96 ERA. Faced against him in May, did okay. Gave up 3 earned runs. That's actually his worst outing ever against the Dodgers. So 3 earned runs isn't bad. Went 6 innings, 8 hits, 3 earned runs. If we look against Philly, he's been great. Like in the playoffs, he's been great. He held Philly to no earned runs. He held the Brewers to no earned runs. He went 5 innings against Philly, 6 innings against Milwaukee. Milwaukee again prior to that, 2 earned runs. Then he went 3 starts in a row where he went almost 7 innings in each game and gave up no earned runs. So he's pitching really well right now. So I wouldn't be upset if you wanted to take, Mets full game. You could look at Mets first 5. I just think there's really good value. I think Mets first 5 is like plus 115. Or you can take them to score 2 runs at plus 100. So to me, that's where the better value is at. I can see Yamamoto giving up some runs. We look at his last start against the Mets. It was way back in April, so you got to go back a while. But he went 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, gave up a home run and walked a guy. In his 2 playoff starts, both against the Padres, his last outing was really good. He went 5 innings, 2 hits, no earned runs. Outing before that against the Padres, not so great. 3 innings, 5 hits, 5 earned runs. He's a very streaky pitcher. So he gave up, during the regular season, it's kind of boom or bust with him. He would either give up 0 or like 4. So depends on which side of the coin you're in. But he's not going to go for long. I think the books have 13 and a half kind of leads me to believe that they think the Mets will do some damage. And if you know how we've played games all year, when they get routed, we go right back to the team that got their ass kicked. It is a tried and true method, and if it doesn't pan out, so be it. But we've done it all year. I did not do it in Game 2. The Mets beat the Dodgers, so we saw the same thing play out. Game 1, Dodgers stomped them. Game 2, Mets came back and won. Game 3, we see the Dodgers stomp them. So it hasn't really been a tight game yet. So if you're on the Mets, I mean, you could even throw a little sprinkle on -1.5 if you want to get gutsy. I just don't like it with the wind and the weather. 9 miles an hour, south-southeast. Just not necessarily want to trust 2, especially against this Dodgers offense. It is still a potent offense. But like I said, Quintana's done a great job of, keeping teams at bay. That said, Dodgers do hit lefties really well, so it all depends on which side of the coin you're on here. Like I said, I think first 5 over 1.5. They were held hitless yesterday. They got to put up some runs today. So that's where I'm at on this game. Let's talk about our best bets. All right, so best bets today, we're going New York and Cleveland over 7. I mean, it is going to be somewhat colder, but we only got a 5-mile-an-hour wind. Like I said, Cleveland going very, very heavy with the lefties. I think the first 4 are left-handed. Then you get a righty. Rest are lefties with a righty anyway. You got a decent amount of switch hitters there. So I do think Cleveland scores some runs. I would even maybe look at their team total over. Let's see a game. Let's see them actually do something for a game. I only went first 5 because it's plus money and they could win 1-0 technically. So I don't want to get too excited. Cleveland still hasn't shown us jack offensively. Mets first 5 over 1.5. Like I said, just really good value. Plus 100. Let's see if they can get to Yamamoto, open up the sticks. Just our system of taking the team after they get routed. Same thing with Mets money line, plus 114. So I do think they win, especially when we look tomorrow. It is a very, very lopsided matchup with Flaherty and Senga, who should be going up against each other. Yeah, too much value there. Parlays, only got one today. Both games under 9 runs. Pair those together, plus 142. Hopefully no one goes insane today scoring runs. Prop leans I like. We already talked about it. Matthew Boyd over 3.5 Ks. Over this in his last 8. Over in 9 of his last 10. So good value there at plus 120. Like I said, I got it for like plus 140 something last night. I like the Cleveland, New York Nerfy at minus 125. And then Jose Quintana over 3.5 Ks at minus 132. I do think he hits this, probably ends up right at 4. So it is a little bit of a sweaty one, but I do think he gets it. All right, that is going to do it for me, guys. Like I said, NFL video is out. Link is down below. NBA on the way. Appreciate you guys. Crushed the subs yesterday. Let's keep at that. And I will catch you on the next video.